Monday Night Football on EA Sports.
Soldier Field opened back in 1924 with the Bears becoming 10-71, and what a home field advantage it has become here in Chicago. Tonight we wrap up an intriguing Week 2 with a good Monday night matchup. Oh, a good-looking return setup here between the London Monarchs and the Chicago Bears. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. And they will be led out by their 6'4" quarterback.
We talk so much about how coaches script things, especially on offense, to start a season, to start a game, whatever it is. Could they have scripted a better start in terms of playing? Offensive Player of the Week in the NFC, and his team won their season opener.
Absolutely. Perfect start to the year, but all the talk was, hey, that was Week 1. Now we got to move forward.
Let's do it again in Week 2. That's what he told his teammates.
Only a couple for him there on the game's first play, and it's second down. The numbers for him from a week ago: 10 carries, 54 yards, and a touchdown.
And to me, the goal is the exact same thing as last week. Get him the ball early and often. I think he's got another big game in him in this one.
Now a man open down the middle of the field and able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. 15 yards on the play, first down. Just the first quarter, but tackling going to be so important going forward. They've got to limit plays like that.
And that's something when you see it happen early in the game and they don't get him on the ground, you can always tell that they were concerned about it going in. Because I can just tell you from my days, I remember being in college and worrying all off-season about our season open opponent, and they had a receiver that could shake and bake with the best of them. I tackled him on the first pass of the game, and the relief was incredible. I ended up having a pretty decent ball game. But if I'd missed him, it would have been a long night.
Thomas, the intended target. And that takes us from second to third down.
6 yards to go.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. He can run for it, and he will. The 20. And finally out of bounds inside the 5 at the 4. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a first and goal.
Now that's disappointing for the defense. They had the advantage, had excellent coverage all over the field, but they let him get away, scramble, and pick up a first down, and inside the 5-yard line.
A terrific opening drive has them knocking on the door, first and goal. They'll look to throw. And it's caught. Touchdown. Thaddeus Moss. His first touchdown of the new season. And this offense takes the ball down the field and scores on their opening drive. They scored the most points of anyone on opening weekend, and now first quarter touchdown here.
And while there's no guarantee that all the points they scored in opening weekend are going to hold up and be the average all year long, they're certainly starting to set that type of a pace. And what you do with that is you put in the heads of all of your opponents, we've got to really be ready on defense because these guys know how to put the ball in the end zone.
You think they can keep piling on the points like this?
I think they can if they're prepared to adjust and adapt, because they won't see the same defenses week in and week out.
Fielded near the back of the end zone. And he'll just take a seat, and the drive will begin at the 25-yard line. Nick Foles and the Bear offense about to be on display for the first time. Foles, the veteran, drafted in the 3rd round back in 2012 out of Arizona.
And no excitement unless you're on the defensive team of last week in his numbers, because the only excitement he really generated was the one interception he threw.
Yeah, no touchdown passes.
Yeah, and his team wasn't real thrilled about that. And they lost the game. So I know this week has been tough on him because he's been working hard. Fundamentals, footwork, finding the right targets, and bottom line,
and he will be hit from behind and run over. Wow. Off the edge, the sack by Matt Ioannidis. That's called setting the tone right away.
It certainly is, and it lets you know just how important communication is amongst the offensive line. They talk about it all the time, knowing each other's moves. You've got to be coordinated and in sync. Otherwise, your quarterback gets hit.
Now this one to his tight end out on the right side. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for third down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
Yeah, that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Now Foles. And the hook up here to Allen Robinson. They'll contain him to just 4. 2nd down. The numbers in last week's ball game for Robinson. 3 catches, 62 yards.
And they think they have a matchup advantage in this one. They're going to try and find some space for him to work and make sure he touches the football.
They'll come out in a 4-receiver look. 3 men to the right side on 2nd and 6. Here's Foles. He'll get that complete to his tight end, Kmet. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. 7 yards there and a 1st down. I don't think it's a surprise they're throwing the football early. We expected that. They told us they were going to come out firing, but 4 for 4 on the opening drive. They like that.
They don't just like it. They love it because now everyone gets locked in. Your confidence jumps up. Everyone's easy about what they're doing out there. And by the way, they're looking at the sideline thinking to themselves and expressing, let's keep throwing it. We're doing pretty well.
Here's Foles throwing complete to Miller. And he's able to get this way down deep into enemy territory. The catch and run pays off to the tune of 35 yards.
Well, that's something that this defense is not going to be able to allow if they're going to have success here. They've got to be able to wrap up and get guys on the ground. They end up letting him get away, and it turns into a big play here early on. I can just see veteran observers of the game shaking their heads and talking about the dearth of tackling in the game today.
That was play number 7 on this drive, and it got him 7 yards. 2nd and 3 from the 9. Foles. And he's going to be taken down, sacked back around the 18-yard line. Montez Sweat. Credit him with a sack as he buries him for a loss of 10. Not easy for Nick Foles and the Bears now. 3rd and long after the sack. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. This will be caught at about the 5. Now a loose football. The ball comes out, and the defense will get their hands on it, going the other way.
We have seen this before, and we know coaches preach about this and work on it all the time. Catch the ball. You know there's going to be some traffic somewhere. They've got to put it away and secure it as they try and get downfield.
Back onto the field comes this offense, ready for their 2nd drive. And it's a unit last drive that did it all on the ground, Charles.
And they controlled it from the interior, big on big, right? Offensive lineman versus defensive lineman. But you know, in order to keep the football moving downfield, other people have to get involved as well. Your wide receivers, your tight ends, lead runners, anything that you have possible to get in front and keep the ball moving.
Now the defense may be looking out for a pass coming up. After 1, 7-0 on EA Sports. On 2nd down, it's Gibson. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that's going to lead to a 3rd and 4 coming up.
This defense is really flown around in the first half. They've gotten to the ball carrier before they can really get started. Offense got to come up with something else in order to try and get this run.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
The pass. Fumble on the play. Recovered by the offense.
Offensively lucky they're able to keep the football, but now 4th down, so they'll have to boot it away.
I do think, though, they're going to look at this as a positive. 1, they recovered the fumble, so they retained possession. But 2, being able to punt it changes field position for them. Imagine if that turnover takes place there. Now your defense has to go onto the field and try and hold. Instead, they get a little breathing room.
Bears take over first.
Chicago works their way back onto the field here for their second drive of the game. And they'll be looking to atone for last time's mistake of fumbling inside the red zone. Certainly they don't want to do that again.
And so much emphasis placed on red zone offense. I mean, you have periods devoted in practice just for that because everyone knows how vital it is to put points on the board when you've entered that part of the field. And
I think he's going to go. They're not going to get him. Past the 20. Touchdown, Chicago. Anthony Miller, 67 yards. And the Bears are an extra point away from tying the football game. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You've got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Bailey got the extra point, and we are tied at 7. So all even at 7 now as they kick it away. Fielded just outside the goal line. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return.
At their own 31-yard line.
London about set to take over on offense. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means they're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. 2nd and 8 coming up. Stepping up, he's going to keep it. He'll end up getting 5 out of that, but now they're looking at 3rd down.
Looked at me like they adopted what my kindergarten teacher always said. If at first you don't succeed, try again. And finally, able to hold him in check. He'd been carving him up running the ball.
That's the first time I think I've seen where the coverage was good downfield, and they accounted for him and stopped him for a short pickup.
Yeah, I don't think it was a big adjustment, but much more emphasis on making sure they knew where he was when he decided to take off and go. One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. So a change of possession here on the punt, and the Bears take over. The Bears offense ready to get going again. And last time the formula was pretty simple. One-play drive, long pass. That maybe they just want to do that again, right?
And that's exactly how you want to draw things up. Whether it's on your grease board, right, in your playbook, one-play drives exactly what you want on offense. What they have to be careful of is